Small Town Minds.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Small Town Minds, a podcast about anything, everything, and absolutely nothing. Here we are, halfway to Halloween, guys. That's my mantra.
Yeah.
But here we are in May. What's been going on?
That close, but yeah, it's that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, this year is flying by. Yeah. No, it's funny. I texted you guys in the group chat earlier this week and I threw out a random topic which we'll get to later, but I was like, I feel like it's gonna be a light week because we weren't just ping, 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 and then from Thursday on, I feel like we got most of the show. It's kind of crazy.
The bulk of it. It kind of happened that way. Yeah. It's starting off kind of, yeah, you're right. It was going to kind of be one of those weeks where we maybe had some room to do some extra stuff that we wouldn't normally do because it wasn't as crazy, maybe, I guess. But then again, there's always something. But yeah, it definitely has bulked up in the last few days.
Oh, yeah. Well, I always kind of joke that we probably should just stop talking altogether because it seems like everything we talk about seems to multiply.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. We do foreshadow some shit, don't we? All right, so lighthearted a little bit up first. Foo Fighters' new album. I listened to that new album that they came out with recently. Anybody check any of that stuff out?
I checked some of it out.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really crazy stood out. Nothing was it's a fine album. It's a decent album to listen to, but nothing really like, oh my God, this is the quintessential Foo Fighters song, maybe, the one about, I can't remember the name of it, but about where I can't believe you're still alive. Basically, everybody, that was kind of funny. I like that one a little bit, but, yeah, I mean, again, if you like Foo Fighters, I feel like it doesn't maybe disappoint to a degree because it is their sort of signature sound in a way. But yeah, it's just not. I mean, definitely didn't pick out any favorites there, but because they've got a whole catalog of good stuff. So it's kind of I guess at some point it's kind of hard to top yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the last. And honestly, it might be in their top 3 albums, in my opinion. Wasting Light. And I guess, as we talked about, time is a funny thing. This year's flying by. It didn't dawn on me that Wasting Light came out 15 years ago.
What's some of the tracks?
That was the one with Walk.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Rope. These Days, Orlandria, Back and Forth, which I think is my favorite off that album. A lot of good stuff. And yeah, that was 15 years ago. Also didn't fully dawn on me and kind of like jarring as kind of preparation. Like, I guess I knew it, but had forgotten. Foo Fighters have been around 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm just like, what?
Fingernails are pretty. Fingernails are good.
Yeah. What's your guys' favorite album?
It was actually the first one.
Mine was the second one, I think, overall. As a whole album, I think it was the second one.
I'm a really big fan of I think it was In Your Honor, the acoustic and electric album.
Okay, yeah.
I think I want to say, and now it escapes me, one of the signature tracks off that. I know No Way Out was on that album, and I'm having the biggest brain fart ever right now. But yeah, that one I thought was a really good album. And I like the concept of 10 songs electric, 10 songs acoustic. But yeah, I'll have to dive deeper into the new album, because like I said, I kind of sampled it, skimmed through it a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So Braden sent this list. It was the 100 best vocalists of all time. I don't know if you looked through that one, Matt. After I looked through it, my only words were, well, that was a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had watched that some time ago, to be honest. And don't get me wrong, there's some really great vocalists on there.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would consider it my top 100 for sure. I think I reached out to you about this one, Michael. I've kind of went back and fell in love with Twisted Sister over the last 2 weeks.
I mean, it's a good band, right? Good band.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I never realized was out there. A lot of deep cuts that I think are better than things that they ever had on the radio. Now, granted, they probably couldn't have played those on the radio.
Yeah, right. And he was very instrumental in all that stuff with Tipper Gore, right? You know, with all that back in the day. So, also has a good horror movie called Strangeland, if you ever get a chance to watch. Yeah,
that sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he wrote it. I think he wrote it. He directed it, and he stars in it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll have to go ahead and find that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. All right. So yeah, I mean, anything else on that greatest list, Braden? Anything?
Super quick. The top 5. At number 5, Robert Plant. Number 4, Marvin Gaye. Number 3, Whitney Houston. 2, Aretha Franklin. And number 1 is Freddie Mercury. And like you guys were alluding to, I don't know if that would be my top 5. Mercury, probably I agree with, just in my personal opinion. But I don't disagree with it. I mean, it's that at least that top 5 is pretty solid. I don't know if I would have it in that order necessarily or sub some people out, but I've seen worse.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really sat down and made my list of 100 singers. I mean, Whitney Houston would definitely be on there. Yeah, probably Freddie, but maybe not number 1 for me. I wouldn't think. The other ones maybe on the list, but not that high, probably. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, more than likely. All right, moving on. Braden, you said you watched some Stranger Things, Tales from 85?
Yeah, I think I'm on episode 4, about halfway through it. And I just slacked off and hadn't got back to it quite yet, but really good, in my opinion. I kind of went into it thinking I'll get through the first episode and I'll be like, whatever. The soundtrack, which was one of my big complaints with season 5, I think there's some Black Sabbath on there. I think, what else? Some Huey Lewis is on there. A lot more of the 80s, typical what you expect from Stranger Things, because that soundtrack throughout all the seasons was pivotal. So that was a kind of brought a smile to my face, but it got me to thinking. I also enjoyed the animated style because, as I told you, it was kind of like the end of the Spider-Verse movies. Got me to thinking, like, what if it had started out as like that style of animation or an animated series, but kept the same themes, just in general, rather than live action. Because, obviously the actors kind of got to looking like Beverly Hills 90210. You got a 30-year-old playing a teenager.
Yeah, right.
But that thought crossed my mind. I'm like, would it have worked better, the same, or not at all?
probably would have worked better for that purpose for sure. But as far as like gaining the audience that it did, I wouldn't think so. And I was telling you, even myself, I do have a harder time getting into animation these days. And I think you might have that same problem, Matt. Am I right? Certain animations is not really, it's like take them or leave them sometimes. I can watch a couple episodes. I just don't get super invested in them that much. So I think a lot of the population, not a lot, but at least some of the population is the same way. So probably definitely wouldn't have had the impact that it would have, but yeah, it definitely would have been able to keep the sort of continuity going.
Yeah, I think the last animated series I really enjoyed was Star Trek Lower Decks. I thought that was a really well done animated series.
It's on Paramount, isn't it?
Yes.
I think I've seen it on there. I just I may have to check that out.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. You'll get a good kick out of that one. It's fun thinking about you're always used to watching the Star Treks and you're seeing the main people on the ship, and all of a sudden when you're looking at Lower Decks, they're the folks doing all the stuff that they don't talk about in the other shows.
Cool. All right. You also watched a doc, Braden, the Hulk Hogan doc.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to talk about this without completely fucking nerding out. Admittedly, I'm not a Hulk Hogan fan, even before all of the...
What are you talking about, brother?
Even before all the recent years, all the bad shit. I just never liked the guy. Even as a kid, I'm just like, I was more of a Andre the Giant, Bret Hart type of guy. And it's like, I don't know. I didn't buy into the say your vitamins, train, or say your prayers, eat your vitamins and train and all that. Just whatever. Really well done documentary. It really, in my opinion, glosses over some things. Again, as a nerd, I'm thinking, well, that happened also during that time period, and that's kind of important, and you don't touch things like that. Average person probably won't notice, but it made me think, like, he really was at one point, like, he was an 80s icon, or is an 80s icon, and it's just
transcended wrestling.
Yeah, and I don't know. I recommend checking it out if you hadn't seen it, even if you're not a diehard fan or anything. I think it's a really well done documentary. It does touch on some of the issues with the sex tape and the racism claims and things of that nature. But yeah, really well done, and I recommend it. So,
all right.
Yeah, I got through the third episode this morning. I actually was a huge Hulk Hogan fan at one point in time. I didn't realize a lot of the stuff that they talked about up to that point. Now, I had just got through the episode where he, turns heel, becomes Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and that one ends with him going back to the WWE and beating The Rock. I'm finishing it out, but I thought it's done really well. It gives a little bit of the good, bad, and the ugly. But like you said, I definitely think it's a glossed over version.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Moving on to something that doesn't give you the bad and the ugly. Something that's number one at the box office this past week, the Michael film. So this is the Michael Jackson movie that's number one at the box office, doing pretty good out there. Now, apparently what I heard was they were going to, or I guess the first version, maybe, or I don't know if it was a draft or it was they actually shot it, version of the movie did address some of these controversies at the end, but they were like, no, 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 no. And they went back and cut it all out. And so there's absolutely none of that stuff in the doc at all, which is a little bit of it's kind of a big story. It's a big part of his story. It's not his whole story, for sure. I mean, he obviously had a huge impact on the world, made a lot of good songs, did a lot of good things as well, but this stuff was a part of it there toward the end. And I don't know if you guys remember, but before he died, I mean, he was a little bit of a leper there for a long time, and people didn't want to talk about it as far as promotion or anything like that. And I think there for the longest time they didn't play a lot of his stuff on a lot of radio stations and stuff. So, but as with time, we forget about stuff, and I mean, it's hard to say, it's like he made such an important impact to music that and I'm not really a person, even if I think he did everything that they say he did, I would still listen to music. It wouldn't really affect me, but some people would. They can't do it, so either they're gonna have to stop listening to music, or they have to have the narrative that he was not guilty of any of this stuff. But so with that coming up, obviously there's all this other stuff that comes up. The director of this Leaving Neverland, spoke out about it and was talking about how they were just glossing over everything. And so I looked into that, and and I watched those documentaries when they came out on HBO. And if you recall, Braden, we were talking about this in the old podcast we did, because if you remember, what happened was these documentaries got released on HBO, and as soon as they did, the creator of The Simpsons pulled an episode. Gone. I think it was in season 3. Just gone. Created this whole big uproar kind of a deal. And so that was, and I watched all those at the time, but now you can't go there and watch them anymore. So they're no longer on HBO. So what happened was the estate, the Michael Jackson estate. Now you got to think about this. He was the biggest artist in the world. Mm-hmm. So this estate, they have money. So if they want to stop you, they pretty much can probably stop you. So they sued HBO and all this, and they reached some sort of deal, I guess, where HBO agreed to pull it. So those documentaries are pulled from HBO. You can no longer see and the director actually made a part 2. It's called Leaving Neverland Part 2, and I watched that one recently. And so what happened with those guys is their first case got thrown out. So they did an appeal. I think it got thrown out. I want to say they did another appeal. It got thrown out. But then they did another one, and it's going forward. And it hasn't even went yet, but they're still in the process of doing this stuff. And there's these other ones. It's siblings of a second family of his that is suing over sexual abuse. It's coming out now. They've done it before. I think what happened is they did it, and something gave them the opportunity to do it again, because I don't know if they got what they wanted last time. But so that's a new case that's going on now. So I don't know where you guys are on this with Michael Jackson. I'm kind of on the fence to a degree. I do understand that when you have that much money, people will come after you. It is sort of a thing, and it could easily trickle pretty easily. But I do also think he was a super weirdo that did a lot of inappropriate stuff. I don't know if he did it all the way inappropriate, but he did a lot of super inappropriate stuff with children that he had no fucking business doing. Now, but again, that's part of his legacy. Again, they're glossing over with the movie. But what do you think? What's your thoughts on him as a whole?
Like you mentioned, some really good songs. Billie Jean is a bop. I really enjoyed Black or White. That video is still holds up with the shape shifting.
Yeah,
fucking incredible.
That's good. Thriller over here.
Thriller. I mean, he was a true artist. I've seen little clips of where he would so meticulous with the dance moves and the rhythm and all that. So, but to your point, I mean, there's a little bit of a dark cloud over all that because, to my knowledge, I don't think it's ever been proven, but there's a lot of allegations, so I can't help but kind of connect the two, but I'm not a big enough fan to like I said, I like a handful of songs. I appreciate what he did musically as an artist, but I can still listen to those handful of songs and not feel icky.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Kanye West, I used to love me some Kanye West. I cannot listen to him now.
Can't do it.
No. So,
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I try to separate the two. Throughout history, there's a lot of artists who are still known throughout the years that you start digging into their actual lifestyles and things that they did. And there's some really fucked up people out there who made some great art over the years.
Yeah.
And I kind of have to look at it that way because of my love of music. There's more than a handful of Michael Jackson songs that I think are really great songs. On occasion, I'll still pop in his name into my music and listen to a few hours, and I'll catch things that I never heard before. And on occasion, I'll find a gem, and I'm like, I'll listen to it over and over again until I get burnt out and move on to something else. So, still enjoy the music. If he did what he's been accused of, I'm at a loss for words, but I don't think it'll stop me from listening to the music because I enjoyed it. There's a lot of my childhood there. As you stated, Michael, Thriller, that's a huge one. I don't think I'll ever forget the night that I first saw the Thriller
Video?
Music video, yes.
Yeah.
Right after that, we ended up watching Return of the Living Dead, so I had this really cool zombie thing going on in my head, and all of a sudden I was scared shitless because I was way too young to be watching it. But it's a memory seared into my head.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I said before, when people are that rich and powerful, people do tend to come knocking sometimes. But on the flip side of that, when you are that rich and powerful, you can make stuff go away too. So it really is there. But if you watch that documentary, the first one, Leaving Neverland, you'll see that his inappropriateness with these kids in almost to a sort of stalkery level, because there are phone calls and stuff that have him on there that you can hear him talking about these little kids, or like trying to get them to come visit him, or and they slept in the bed with him and all that stuff. Now, and again, and all that's true. Now, if as far as whether anything happened or not, that's open to speculation, but the rest of it is true. So that stuff, again, I feel like it was way inappropriate, So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch this new movie mostly just because they do recreate the Thriller scene, Matt, in the movie. They do.
Okay.
So I'll watch it and stuff, but yeah, I'll take it for what it's worth. I mean, you can't, and I think that's what happened is after a generation goes by, we can go, we can do this, and we'll kind of forget about some of this other stuff. It's a little bit of, let's just magic smokescreen some stuff, All right, speaking of controversy, David Allen Coe dies at 86. Madam, why don't you take this one?
Oh, man. David Allen Coe. I don't think I actually heard of David Allen Coe really until I was probably about 18. And I dug pretty deep into his music library at that point in time. Definitely a very controversial artist. Man, there were some songs that if they were put out now, I don't think that they would go over at all. But I've known people throughout the years who were just die-hard David Allen Coe fans. That it really surprises me that so many people were that huge into him. Do hate that he passed, once again, another artist in his own right. He had a lot of stuff that wasn't so controversial that were really great songs.
Sure.
It's kind of wild to hear the other side of what he did, and then to know the stories behind, him. The way I understood it, he would go play his mainstream shows and then have another side show where he would go out and play this unbelievably racist and sexist songs that he had written.
Yeah. I mean, I think for him, he just was alive long enough to see the culture completely change, and I think, you hear, I would say a lot of people younger that would listen to it now would be completely put off by what he's done. A lot of like you said, a lot of the controversial stuff, not the other stuff, but it is sort of weird though, that those got greenlit for albums.
Yeah.
I mean,
God.
it's
Yeah. Well, we need one more track. I've got this one. All right, fuck it. Put it on there. Anytime I think of David Allen Coe, I think of The Ride. I think that's the name of the track. That one of his bigger hits. But yeah, I kind of like Michael Jackson though. He put out a lot of good music, but you can't help but think about the other side of it. So,
well, at least when you think of his name, you have a song that's one people would know. I don't think everybody knows the "Cum Stains on the Pillow" song, but for some reason that's the one that plays in my head because some kind of weird bastard, I guess.
Yeah, he was a wild one.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked last podcast about all these UFO and aerial space scientists disappearing and stuff, and Matt was talking about the ancient aliens guy. To look him up, and I saw a caption that said "Ancient alien star dies," and so I told him, "Oh, he's dead." But it turns out it wasn't the main guy. It's just some guy who's been on there a lot, or is like a guest a lot of times. He was a UFO researcher though, David Wilcock. Supposedly he died by suicide. Supposedly, Matt, you said you thought there was maybe a little bit of a pushback to some of this stuff, some of these claims with these scientists. Did you find anything about that?
No, I did not get to do any more research about it. I was having the conversation with another friend, another small town friend, actually, from the area that we're from, and he was letting me know that he had been listening to some podcasts that were debunking some of the statements about the scientists. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah.
Definitely something I want to look more into when I grab some time to do so. I've been caught up in a few other things that I'm a little more invested in learning about, so I haven't actually went back out and looked for what I could debunk on what's being stated. I did feel really bad at first when you told me that the ancient aliens guy had passed, and I had to go look it up. Luckily, wasn't the main guy, because that was who I was talking about when I made that statement. Yeah. But still, very seems odd, because the guy that apparently committed suicide, he seemed like a very confident and smart person who actually did a lot of really cool research and traveled the world looking at ancient sites and things of that nature. So it still strikes me as odd that he would have committed suicide.
Right. Yeah. Who knows? All right. Braden, Google starts scanning all the photos for AI.
Yeah, so it's a thing, and I actually got the notification called personal intelligence, Google personal intelligence, and it essentially allows Gemini to put its octopus tentacles through your Gmail, your YouTube, your files, your photos, in order to help. And the article I believe I sent you was, it's also to train it, train the AI on the photos as well. And yeah, that's kind of disturbing, to some degree. But I don't believe I'm going to opt into that.
Okay, but so right now that you have to opt into it, it's not going to be an automatic thing. Okay,
correct. Because again, I got the note. Yeah, for now, I got the notification, and I was like, nope. But yeah, man, it's just every day, just a little bit more and a little bit more. Just AI is creeping in further and further.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So,
did either of you guys? And I didn't even bring this up to you, and I apologize. It was something that I was talking to with my wife. Either of you guys see the story about by 2027, all new vehicles will be equipped with an AI?
We talked about that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
How it's going to scan you. It's going to scan you. It's also going to basically listen for heartbeats, or like they're trying to. I mean, they're trying to figure out if you're able to drive. I mean, that's their story, right? Yeah, and obviously this is not going to be an opt-in situation. It's going to be on vehicles, all of them, right?
Yeah, and what we were watching was talking about how even though you spend your money for your car, I guess something about the way the new rules will be is that doesn't necessarily mean you own the car. So that's wild to think about too, and something that we definitely need to look more into.
Well, I mean, that would be a thing, is like, okay, so you're out, you have a couple drinks, maybe they hit you a little bit harder than you thought. You're trying to drive home. Next thing you know, you can't go anywhere. You're stuck. What? And what? Okay, so what? It stops the car. You're on the interstate. It stops the car.
I mean,
hopefully it pulls you to the side of the road, but it doesn't state that.
You know, I mean, these sort of situations that tend to sound chaotic and dangerous. I'm sorry, but I can't believe that, again, with Uber, Lyft, Waymo, all these things that we have now, plus home delivery services that we have where you can sit at home and get alcohol delivered to you. I cannot, for the life of me, think that we have as many problems with drunk drivers as we used to. Now, I'm not saying there's not people that do it. There's always going to be, to a degree. I just cannot see that it is anywhere near what it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
I agree with it.
But yeah, that whole thing is, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right, moving on. Brazilian lab reports 709 virus vials missing.
I missed that one if you sent that across.
I did.
That sounds scary as shit.
We'll find them around 2028, right before the election, probably.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
did it say what the virus was? I may have missed that.
It did not say in the article. It said it was unknown at this time.
Oh, that's a comfort.
Yeah.
Could be a flesh-eating disease.
Yeah, something very cool we've never seen before. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, how does that go missing exactly? I mean, you'd think that sort of stuff would be pretty well protected, pretty well like Fort Knox, but I guess not. I guess not. I don't know. All right, so Trump trying to buddy up with the stoners does a few things here. Trump marijuana reclassification rules remain unchanged in Tennessee until the framework is established, but overall he's trying to reclassify this. Anybody want to take that?
Well, it's not a bad thing. I'll repeat myself. Trump did something that was not a bad thing. It doesn't legalize it. It doesn't completely, I think it puts it in the same realm as like some mild painkillers. But what it does do is allow more research, medical research and things of that nature. I'm still kind of concerned with what we talked about on here before, like with the farmers bill and the CBD, THC products. That's still coming up in November. I have not read if this affects that or not. It could, but I think overall, it's not a bad thing. It's a tiny step in the right direction in my mind.
Yeah. Well, and what's this about Tennessee? Tennessee says it's going to be unchanged until it's completely established. Does that mean that this doesn't really affect it until they're like saying for sure what they're doing?
Yes. So basically, lawmakers have passed an amended bill that says the marijuana regulations in Tennessee will remain in place even if its classification is changed on the federal level.
Yeah.
Until a state framework is established. And this last minute change to the bill allows lawmakers to establish said framework and allowing its the federal regulations loosen. So yeah, and I think reading this, the amendment was added to the bill, focused on urging the Tennessee Advisory Commission to study if the state is prepared to support a medical marijuana program. So maybe that's the framework they're talking about is some type of medical marijuana program. Yes, like again, tiny steps in the right direction. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Tennessee just recently banned that kratom, or is that how you call it? Say it, kratom.
Yeah,
I've always heard it.
Yeah, that's been a recent ban here, so that's no longer going to be available for people. Trump also did a fast track FDA review and research of psychedelic mushrooms treatments for depression and stuff. What you were talking about, Matt?
Yeah, it slipped my brain everything that I've actually read about that one. But there's been several studies over the last few years about psychedelic mushrooms and how they're using it to combat people with PTSD and things of that nature. I've always been under the impression that it does help change your mindset, even if it is for a little while. Mm-hmm. It's not just the day that you do it. It's for weeks afterward.
Okay. Well, as I was telling Braden, I think Trump's just trying to get everybody drugged up that way that we don't actually see what he's doing. But,
on the mushroom thing. So again, it's a good thing, step in the right direction. But it's how this supposedly went down because Joe Rogan, of all people, was in the Oval Office. And Trump said during the signing that Joe Rogan texted him and said, hey, gave some numbers of veterans with PTSD that had been saved, a few other loose facts. And Trump was like, okay, let's get this going. So, again, it's not a bad thing, but it's just like a fucking podcaster has the president's number and can just get shit through. I mean, that's wild.
Over a researcher, yeah.
It's the fear factor, man. It's
All right, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, a couple of good things there. Military no longer requiring troops to get the annual flu vaccine, thanks to good old Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, that one seems crazy. It seems like that would be a bad idea. I personally, I don't know that I've ever had the flu vaccine and not gotten the flu still, but I know the vaccines only cover certain strands, so it may not be that it's completely making people immune to it, but I would think it would still be a good idea, especially in situations where they're crowded together in barracks and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think. I don't know. I guess we'll see, won't we? We'll see what happens within a year, probably. Braden, Trump fires the entire science board.
Yeah. So, for context, the National Science Board advises the President and Congress on the National Science Foundation, which has already been running on a shoestring budget. And for even more context, the National Science Foundation has been fundamental in helping develop technology used in MRIs, cell phones, and help get Duolingo off the ground. So to get rid of the entire board that is kind of the mediator between the National Science Foundation doing all this research, like it's almost as if they're wanting a direct line, they being the President, Congress, and whoever else are wanting a direct line to the Science Foundation, I guess, to just control it directly. I don't know. How does this help anybody? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like any place that may put checks and balances in, or anyone who puts checks and balances into the system, it's either walk along or get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Trump and Melania demands Kimmel be fired again.
I mean,
we've talked about this several times too, about, just the fact that it kind of surprises me that some people who are on television are still there. Every time I see a new Daily Show episode, I'm like, that actually came back on this week.
Yep. I mean, I think one of the comments he made, it was a parody of the Correspondence Dinner.
Yeah.
And said Melania looked like a glowing, expectant widow or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Even I was just like, whew, that had some bite. Not saying I agree with taking him off the air or anything like that, but yeah, that particular comment, that was pretty ballsy. But again, like we talked about on here before, there's freedom of speech. So it's I don't know. Yeah, just crazy. They're advocating for somebody to be taken off the air. That's
Well, and did I hear right that there was some controversy about Colin Joust also and his portrayal of Pete Hegseth and some of the statements that have been made on the Weekend Update?
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. No calls for complete dismissal that I'm aware of, but there was definitely some heat. I don't know that that slowed them down any, but there was definitely heat.
Well, unfortunately, that's their motto. I mean, they don't like opposition. They don't like anybody challenging them, and especially making fun of them on a global level. So that's it's a little North Korea, but you know.
Well, and this has went on for as long as I've been alive. You know, I remember David Letterman and Jay Leno making comments that were pretty rough also. Maybe not the expectant widow comments, but man, Saturday Night Live is always giving the political candidates.
Not gonna do it. No new taxes. Not gonna do it. Yeah, absolutely. It's always been a part of it. I feel like things are more political now to a degree, but it definitely has always been in the framework. So, I mean, I feel like, you know, most presidents have always just taken it on the chin. Did they like it? Probably not. You know, but they were never calling for anybody to be canceled. That sort of stuff that's all. That can only come from what we're dealing with now. So, speaking of what we're dealing with now, assassination attempt. Let's talk about it. The old assassination attempt number 3. Trace?
Yeah. And I'm sure that I probably shouldn't dig into some of the stuff that I do, but I go back and I think about some of the other stuff that I've read about other assassination attempts in the past that were staged. Not saying this one was staged, but to build buy-in and to gain rhetoric around things. The part that really strikes me weird is the push for the ballroom now, and how that's now tying into where this completely private funded ballroom now needs to be paid for by taxpayers to keep the president from having to leave the White House.
Yeah, who's exactly happy about that? About the whole $400 million from the taxpayers that they're trying to squeeze out.
Just wondering how big it's got to be if there's going to be a golf course under it. You know, that's going to be the hard part, because if he's not going to leave it all, then they're going to have to put a golf course in there, aren't they?
I would think so. I mean, there definitely has been a lot of stuff online about it being staged, false flag parody, like that song you sent and everything. But there's been a lot. I've seen a lot recently, way more now, even about the one where he got shot in the ear. That one too. A lot recently, way more now than when it happened, about people saying that it was staged. I don't know if it was staged or not. I can't say for sure. It could have been. I mean, I don't trust them, so I can't say for sure. I mean, obviously the guy, I mean, if you look at the video, it's kind of weird, like him running in there the way he did. Yep. It does seem a little opportunistic in there, but you know, and obviously they wanted to create this image of him being a radical leftist, and he was more of a Christian who got fed up with a lot of stuff. If you read that manifesto he had, kind of a deal. But I don't know. Like I said, I mean, could I see somebody trying to do it? I mean, I guess I think that the country is pretty much at each other's throat now. So that makes sense. Could I see it being staged? I could also see that as well. Again, like you said, if you immediately push for something that got put on hold, and now you're pushing for it to go get restarted, but then also, like you said, paid for by the American public. But what was the thing about the attacker maybe knew JD Vance's wife? There was like in a thing together. What was that about?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Braden. I'll let you take it.
Well, I know I sent you guys a video, and I think was it a reality show or something?
Something like that, yeah.
They were on together, and it's like, I think the person in the video, alluded to, like, are they just fucking with us now? Because unless it was AI, I don't know. It did look like JD Vance's wife. It looked like the guy that done this, and it just like, wow, okay, kind of wild, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then to further feed the conspiracy, what's this thing about the X account, the account where it posted 3 years ago? It just had one post, and it was this guy's name. One post. Cole. It just posted Cole Allen. It was 3 years ago on X. And I think it was like something like if you look up the name on the poster, that guy maybe worked at NASA, and so did Cole. He actually worked at NASA, and so there's all this sort of conspiracy about it too. I don't know the full details. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's a little weird that. And then the picture was like a frog with a suit. It's kind of strange.
Supposed to be tied into like the time traveler statement?
Well, I don't think it's tied into that necessarily, but they are saying that. I mean, it is weird that it was 3 years ago set into where this was only stated. This was the only, as far as I know, the only post that this account made, and it just said Cole Allen, I think. Yeah, pretty wild. Pretty interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, after all this stuff, 60 Minutes comes on and does an interview with Trump. And Trump has this kind of meltdown, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to say she didn't bait him, but still, he really took it, didn't he? He was like, I'm not a rapist. I'm not a pedophile.
You're horrible people.
You're horrible people.
I loved how she, to further set the hook, was like, oh, you think he was talking about you? And I'm just like, yes. Like, really, really good tactics on her part. Because, like you said, she did bait him. It was classic reporter 101. But, yeah. Surprised that even aired, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
that is true. All right, so the King and Queen of England dropped by for a visit recently, and then all that happened. There was a lot of stuff, obviously. One of the things was that X on the White House has an X page that they post a lot. I'm like, shouldn't you be like running the country? But anyway, one of the things was posted a picture of the king over there and Trump, and their caption was "Two Kings."
Yeah,
which was
that one. It feels like a slap. It's Definitely an odd post, especially coming out of the White House.
Yeah, yeah. And then King Charles, he did some speeches, and I think there were some digs in those speeches, weren't there, Brayden? A little bit.
He talked a whole lot about diplomacy and checks and balances, and it could certainly be viewed as digs, but it was done in a classic British tasteful way.
Yeah.
And it was, from a king talking to a democracy about checks and balances, diplomacy, and just essentially we need to maybe start thinking about what's really happening is what I got from it. It was kind of bizarre because he made all the sense in the world. And it's like, this motherfucker is a king.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a king, but he does have parliament, right? They have a parliament.
Yeah.
Parliament there. So, I mean, I'm assuming it's a little bit different, but it also maybe has some checks and balances there for him. Yeah, I mean, I did think it was a little bit of a little big there. All right. Trump putting his mug on the U.S. passports. He did the Parks and Services thing recently. Now he's doing the passports.
Yeah, definitely making sure his face and name is on damn near everything.
Yeah.
There were a few things that I didn't even know until actually today, looking up some more stuff that he's done where his name or image has showed up on different things. It's not the Department of Peace, but another building that I didn't realize that he had put his name on in this time also. It's like, wow, like you really just want to make sure that everything says Trump. So
yeah, I don't get it. Like, this is the type of shit. This is the type of shit where it's like, you just got Trump derangement syndrome, or Trump, everything's bad. Motherfucker. When you can't escape him,
yeah,
you kind of begin to just be like, fuck this guy. What the hell?
Yeah. Pushes to have his name on stadiums.
Yep.
Airports. I mean, I'm sure before we know it, every bridge will be Trump Bridge. You'll have a hard time navigating because you can't cross a river without having to figure out which Trump Bridge you got to cross.
I'm from Trumpville, USA.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe you're from the United States of Trump. It's.
Yeah. Yeah. His narcissism knows no bounds. But here's what I think. I think that he's trying to win the batting average. I think he's like, you know what? I'm going to put my name on as much shit as I can because I know once I'm out of here, once they finally somehow get me out of here, that shit's going away. But it's going to be so much harder to go away if I put it on everything. So it's going to be years and years and years before that trickles away. But I'm going to keep doing it and keep doing it and doing it until it's going to last for a long time after I'm gone. That's what I think. All right. Federal agents returned to Minneapolis to target the daycare centers for fraud again.
Oh, so what the fuck were they there the first time for? They're just shooting people. Now they're going to go back and actually do something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, didn't we obliterate what was there to begin with? Oh, wait, hold on. That's a whole different part of the world that we've I'll be quiet.
It'd be like getting I don't know, Skeletor or some, evil bad guy to go and investigate some horrible thing that could possibly or possibly not happen. It's like it's just too ironic, really, right? It's like every day we hear nothing but fraud from you and your people, and you're going to go investigate some fraud. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Like, not saying that there's not fraud there. I could totally be there. Have no clue. But I'm just saying the irony is inescapable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Brendan, you want to talk about monoculture and how the culture has changed in the last 20 to 30 years?
Yeah. So I was actually talking to someone I work with about that Hogan Doc, and also, that doc kind of got me to thinking. I'm like, I think wrestling as a whole now is probably as mainstream as it's ever been, but I don't know how many people could name current wrestlers, but they could name Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Macho Man Randy Savage, so on and so forth. And it's like, because 25, 30, 40 years ago, I feel like we weren't as fragmented. There weren't these things called algorithms.
Right.
We were watching, Matt, you brought up watching the Thriller video. There were certain cultural things that we all experienced together. And I don't think that's the case now. I think some major things, sure, but I think there's so many outlets, so many ways to connect to an audience now. It has really splintered the culture where these 5 million people could know something. 5 million people, a ton of people could know one thing, and us three may have never even fucking heard of it. So yeah, that's kind of what kind of the jumping off point. I don't think we live in a monoculture anymore, certainly. So
No, I agree totally. Even apart from the fact that I don't listen to new music that much, I mean, I wouldn't even know half of these names even if I was listening to certain genres of music. I still watch movies and stuff, but there's so many celebrities and people that I don't know at all. And then if you take like people like influencers who I don't even watch, there's so like I'll see like a story or something like, oh, so and so did this, and I'm like, who is that person? I don't know who this person is. Like because there is so many different silos that people are going, that kind of go into, and these little cliques that people go into. No, there is no like world event. And you said there's certain things, but I think even certain things, like you're still seeing it from a fragmented side. Like if it's a world event, like news wise, you might be watching it from the left or the right or the center. You don't really know, but then somebody else is looking at it from a totally different angle.
Yeah.
So you're getting all these different ways of experiencing things. I mean, and I just think that it does sort of make things a little less, maybe more trivial or less trivial. Maybe it's not as important as far as like I remember growing up and every year. The Wizard of Oz came on every year, and it was like an event sort of a thing, and so it was just something that you do. Now, there's nothing like that. I can look at my own kids. My kids, there's nothing that they watch over and over and over again. Now, when they were younger, when they were real little, there were certain things, sure, but now that they're older, they're just like going on to something else. They watch something once and then they're done. Me, I've watched certain things like 50 times, and they're just like, I've already seen it. Blah blah blah. I got other things to watch. So I do think that we've lost something there for sure. that it's and I don't see it coming back because, I mean, unless something happens to the internet, you know.
Makes sense.
Matt, anything?
You know, I recall waiting for Charlie Brown specials and things of that nature. You know, watch them every year. Rudolph, different things like that that were on television that I'm sure half the country probably sat down and watched while it was on, just because it was something that they had done over and over and over as a tradition. And now you've got to actively go out and find those things if you want to watch those. And it's definitely a different change of pace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think also the fact that they are easily accessible now, it sort of cheapens it a little bit. It makes it a little less of a novelty, you know, because it's just like you can watch Rudolph. You can watch Rudolph right now, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you wouldn't have to wait around for nothing. So it's sort of, and the fact that we have the accessibility for all these things has sort of lowered their value to us as well. But then, you know, again, you know, there's so many different platforms. Even if you're watching a movie, like you might be watching Netflix and you might be watching Prime and I might be watching Hulu, or, you know what I mean? Like, we're totally watching different things. There is no major event. Now, there's certain shows and stuff that catch, and a lot of people do watch them at the same time. You know, like Stranger Things, for instance, and there's a few like that really just catch. Obviously, when pandemic was happening, everybody was watching a lot of the same stuff. But, you know, I think that as a whole, when we're just busy and doing stuff, we get very fragmented and going and doing, you know, our own thing. So.
You know, I catch myself more trying to find news from other countries about our country now, too, just to see if what they're stating aligns with what we're hearing. And I do see a lot of things that just, I don't feel like we're getting the same information, which, granted, that's coming from another country. I guess there could be bias there also. But it seems like the information coming from those outlets sometimes are given more information than what we're seeing.
Right. Yeah. Anything else on that, Brad?
Yeah.
All right, you got this other one here. It's a UAE. It's leaving the OPEC and OPEC plus.
Yeah. So OPEC, and the OPEC plus essentially control the price of oil globally. The United Arab, and I'm going to butcher this, the United Arab Emirates pulled out, and they were one of the major players in it. So it's I don't know fully what this means precisely, but it's interesting to say the least. I don't know. OPEC it's almost like a legalized cartel.
Okay. It's
primarily Middle Eastern countries where the vast majority of the oil is at, and they can kind of set the price of oil, and that is an extremely rudimentary version of it, but essentially that's what it is. So it's, like I said, a legalized cartel. They've got it. They set the price. We pay it. So them pulling out is kind of curious. I think the last I read, I know the oil was over $100 a barrel. I don't know where it landed as of this recording, but I think yesterday it was over $100 a barrel. It's around $4 here, 3.90 something, right at $4 here. To me, with more instability such as this, them pulling out, one player taking their ball and going home, I don't know. Didn't give me a warm and fuzzy. So,
well, and if I'm not mistaken, OPEC and the no, I can't remember the other one at the moment. The Emirates folks, that's that. The oil trades have always primarily, or at least for X amount of years, I guess since the 80s potentially, it's all been traded in the U.S. dollar. And I know there's speculation that it'll be potentially moving to, believe what, Russia or maybe even China,
yeah.
or have yen or the ruble, I think it is. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe they're pulling out to start that trading in a different currency.
Which also isn't good, at least for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, moving on. James Comey vows to kill the president. No, wait. James Comey indicted over some seashells that said 8647.
Yeah, that one seems like a stretch to me. To me, that doesn't seem like anything blatant. And honestly, I worked in restaurants when I was younger. 86 typically means that we need to take that off the menu because we don't have any more, or to throw it out. So it may have, I took that, if it was even actually pointed at the president, just to mean that we need to move on to the next thing, start trying to sell the next dish. This one's gone bad, or we're out of stock.
Right. Well, obviously he doesn't like him. He's getting revenge. It's a revenge tour. We've talked about this before. This is just a part of it. He tried it before with him. It didn't work, and now he's trying it again. It's just kind of silly. Grasping for straws, really wasting taxpayer dollars, I would say, just to do this, just to try to indict this guy. I don't see him getting anything out of this. I don't see anything coming from it. I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem to hold much weight.
I've seen a lot funnier seashell posts since then. So,
yeah.
Apparently now that's just going to be a new medium. You collect your seashells and make statements in the sand.
Yeah. All right. Braden, China moves to block the entrance to the South China Sea.
Yeah, this is something that I was listening to a podcast, and somebody brought it up, and I was like, huh. And I honestly had heard nothing about it, or it flew by. And yeah, back on April 16th, they're blockading the entrance, and the key thing with this is 25, I think it's somewhere around the neighborhood of 25 to 30% of all major global trade on ships go through here, go through that entrance. And it begins to get even more concerning because you have the Strait of Hormuz situation. As we just touched on the price of oil, I think there's still some tariffs floating around out there. I don't know, who knows what the hell's going on there. And now a major trade avenue is made even more difficult. I know we're resilient, but at what point is this going to affect enough to where people are like, all right, enough is enough. Like, the fuck is going on?
Right.
So, and I kind of am of the belief that while we're burning through money to still seem like the all-powerful America, the Hulk Hogan of the world, if you will, and we're burning through billions, millions and billions of dollars. China's kind of sitting back and they're like, all right. And they're making strategic little moves.
Yeah.
And incrementally catching up to us. And, you know, Matt, you brought up the oil thing maybe being traded on the yen. If that does come to pass, that's going to be massive. So, yeah, it's something to keep an eye on, something kind of concerning. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did see something kind of neat around China. I guess they've passed legislation stating that it's unlawful to terminate employment based off AI.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a good read. I went out and looked for some more information on that, and it does seem to be a legit thing. So, I mean, even though they're blocking this, it seems like they are trying to also take standpoints that will protect their population and their jobs also.
Right. I mean, it sounds like a good thing on paper, but obviously they have a different system than we do. And for them to say, okay, well, you can implement AI and everything, and that's totally fine, but you can't use it to get rid of people. I mean, it sounds like a good idea, like I said, but I just don't see that happening in the U.S. I mean, we get rid of people for no reason at all anymore. You know, like we have that. You know, no fault. You know, you just get rid of people. So America is all about making the money. So that's their reasoning. I mean, I think for China, they look at it like these companies are owed the debt to pay these people. So I don't even know how it works. Like, can you not fire people at a company in China? Like,
I'm sure you can.
For like maybe crazy, like very reasonable, so like things that they would just have to. But it seems like they're way more making sure that people are being accountable there, at least job wise anyway. Than we would ever be. I mean, well, let's face it, we would never do this. We would never be like, okay, I know we got the capability to take your job, but we won't do it. you know. It just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen because we've already been proven. I mean, look how many jobs were lost because we sent stuff overseas, companies and stuff, so they could get cheaper labor, so they could make more money.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I saw something recently was talking about like, so let me get this straight. We've been paying these corporations all these tax breaks, or allow them to give all the stuff in the sense where they said that they were going to use their platform to give people a livable wage and make prices cheaper. Then how come people can't get a livable wage and prices keep going up?
Capitalism, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So,
and if the company is big enough, they have to get maybe not approval, but at least has to notify the government that they're going to potentially make big changes in their workforce. So yeah, so it seems like even all the way up to the top of government also is got their hands in the cookie jar there.
Yeah. All right, Brayden, you sent this video recently. It was Sparvato and it was just like it was a drug, right? It was medication, and it had all these different side effects.
So yeah, man. My wife and I watched a movie the other night, and prior to the movie, this ad comes on, and I'm waiting on the movie, dicking off on my phone, but I hear the exact way that Spravato works is unknown. So I look up and I start paying more attention, and it's things like this could kill your unborn baby. If I wish I could remember the exact verbiage, but if you have anything strange, they used a different terminology, but anything strange with your blood vessels or veins, it can severely harm you. Because, I mean, I keep track of that. I don't know about you guys, but, basically when you take it, they have to monitor you for 2 hours, I guess, to make sure you don't flip the fuck out. But the stranger thing is, it's essentially, from what I could look into, very close with ketamine. So, you ever want to feel like Elon Musk, just go get you some Spravato. Yeah. Oh, I'm in a hole. Oh, I'm in a hole. But, yeah, I was just like, what the hell? It was one of the wildest. I mean, all these medication ads for years have been out there, but to blatantly say, hey, we don't know how it works, we're just going to prescribe it. It's like, what?
Oh, Lord. He's the guy who plays Ken. For some reason, his name's eluding me in the Barbie movie.
Ryan Gosling.
You'll have to go back a few episodes and watch the Ryan Gosling Saturday Night Live. I think potentially they had a skit that really alludes to that too. I think it was Ozempic is what they were talking about for that one, potentially. But it was like, it may be an alien life form here to take over the world. But when you talk about that, and then me hearing just regular actual drug commercials, I'm thinking, wow, yeah, I think everything anymore is like, we don't know how it works or where it came from, but if you can take it,
feel great.
Yeah. Right. The amount of side effects that you can get from most of these things are staggering. And like, there's so many of them that are way worse than the condition that you have at the moment. You know what I mean? It's like, you could potentially go from bad to worse, but it's up to you.
Yeah, it'll stop your tooth pain, but you may drastically shit your pants at any moment.
You will be bleeding from both eyes.
Teeth won't hurt.
All right. Study says fruits and vegetables linked to lung cancer in young non-smokers.
I think we may have touched on this at one point in time too, that damn near everything gives you cancer now, right?
Well, that's the thing. Is like you want to be healthy. Some people go, okay, I'm going to be healthy. I'm not going to eat this processed crap. I'm going to do this. I'm going to straight up do all this, this regiment of fruits and vegetables and, water and do all this stuff. And then turns out, boom. I mean, all these chemicals and stuff that they put on that stuff, it gives you cancer. Can potentially. Now, obviously, this is not this is a study, so it is, but it is a study of young non-smokers. So obviously, it wasn't smoking that gave them lung cancer. I mean, and that was just a link that they found that the people that got the highest amount of lung cancer, they ate mostly healthy.
Yeah,
and sniff glue. But I mean,
and sniff glue. Beside the point.
Sorry. And Brady, you were going to say something before I cut you off. I apologize.
You're good. So it was linked to the pesticides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of tracks, but it's still just like Matt said. I mean, shit, everything gives you cancer. Like, even if you're trying to do the right thing, they're putting pesticides on it. So what are you to do?
What are you to do? I mean, really, what is the product that you can go to that's not going to put you at risk? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we do these things. We eliminate certain things, like, obviously back in the day you could smoke anywhere. Back when I was growing up, now obviously can't do that anymore. But then you look at all this other stuff that is totally still acceptable, and nothing's being done about any of this stuff. And it's going to be a very slow roll for that. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It's not it's not positive. Yeah. There's a thing that's trying to fight. It's the IFSA, and I did not write down what that anagram was. Trying to stop the FBI from quietly spying on Americans, because we all know that they do it. So there is a little bit of pushback to that now. That this has been introduced into Congress, I think. I don't know if it'll get anywhere. Probably not, but it's this little pushback that they shouldn't be able to spy on everybody. It's because, I mean, back in the day, the whole thing about a warrant thing was kind of nice to think about. I don't know if it was ever implemented really and completely, but the fact that they can do it with ease now is just a little too scary, I think. Here's one. We talk a lot about the shit that Trump does, and you look at all these people that voted for him, and a lot of those people are what? They're, a lot of them are like, older, disabled, stuff like that, just people that rely on the government and stuff, but they want him to fix it or whatever, just sort of believe his bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And he has proven time and time again that was all just a fucking joke. It was a lie, which he's proven that it is, because he's doing nothing but dismantling all these things for all these different people, from the farmers, to all these different sort of groups in America. And here's the newest one here. Trump administration proposes a bill that will target SSI benefits for disabled adults that live with family. So here's the thing. They don't want you to put your family in a nursing home anymore, or unless you got bucos of money, like, you know what I mean? They don't want you to at all, because they don't want to foot the bill. Okay. So they want you to take care of them at home, but now they want to cut their funding for them. So what they're saying here is, if you got a disabled adult that's on disability and they're making, like, let's say $990 a month, like, woo party time, huh? They're wanting to slash that by a third. They want to take $330 off of that.
That'll be detrimental to a lot of families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, again, these are people that are at best barely getting by. Like, actually the only reason that they are getting by is because they live with their families. Because let's look at it like this: even if they're disabled, maybe they're disabled to work, but they could actually live on their own, right? Well, they couldn't afford to. They couldn't afford to anyway. Realistically, can you afford to live off of $990 now? 20 years ago, okay. 20 years ago, all right. Well, you're getting by, all right. You're getting by but now I don't think that's even viable here.
Mm-hmm.
So to say, oh, let's cut some of this shit,
Yeah. And I get it. Like, some people's thought process is like, well, they don't need handouts or something like that. I'm sure that thought goes through people's heads. but it's like, I thought the government was supposed to help serve the people. I mean, I don't know. I just don't understand it. What's that money going to go to? They cut that. What's it going to? More
It's going to the ballroom.
The ballroom.
Either that or the arch. You know, you got to have money for the arch also.
Yeah.
It's true. That is true. Yep. So, I mean, you know, just this fact, I mean, I cannot fathom how somebody who's like living off of this or anything that he's cut and trying to cut can go, okay, yeah, let's keep on voting for him. Let's keep his people in power because they're doing such a great job. I mean, all of this stuff, and again, and the fact that he literally in your face with the gold and the ballroom and the arch and all that shit, it's just so disrespectful. Like it's beyond me, man. I just don't get it. I've come to the conclusion, and this show may or may not have helped. We live in a glamorous dystopia. Because this stuff is ridiculous. We're quite literally taken from the poor and given to the rich. Yeah. And I mean, like it's not even like for speculation. It's there, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's crazy. All right. Let's go to Tennessee for a little bit. Tennessee ranks worst state for spending on public school students. Number one.
Hell yeah. Number one, baby. Keep coming in there week after week.
Yeah.
Not surprising. I know when I went to school and you guys went to school, you didn't have a laundry list of shit that you had to buy prior to the year.
Yeah.
And both you guys have kids in school or have had kids in school, and it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but now every year it's a fucking list of shit you got to buy because they're not going to provide it.
Yeah. And not only that,
right off the bat.
not only that, but then throughout the year they'll send you a note saying, "Hey, we could use some of this. You know, if you got it, we can use some of it." You know, and I mean that it's crazy that there is no funding. That there is. They just want them to be stupid, right? They don't care.
What's the old adage about an uneducated populace? I don't remember off the head. I don't know if either of you guys said either, but basically stating it's much easier to control an educated populace.
Well, of course, and they're not going to rise up to you. Yeah,
because they're not going to know any better.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. It does worry me. Like, we have kids in school, and it is disheartening that I mean, if you're in the middle, okay, whatever, Tennessee's probably not going to be on top, but to be the lowest is sad. And of course, Trump Jr. / Bill Lee said, "Oh, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true."
But we got $2 billion or something like that to build the Titans' new stadium.
There you go. That's all we need, right?
So,
yeah.
Can't afford some notebooks and pencils.
What were you talking about? Robbing from the poor?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Tennessee man faces legal battle after removing a wildlife hidden camera on his land.
Yeah, I thought that was a really weird one to read over. I didn't catch. Does he have it posted as private property? Maybe that's the legal loophole that they're working from here.
I mean, I don't know if it said that or not, but I mean, it's his land. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think it by definition is private property, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd think. This is what I'm talking about. We are, there's pushing and pushing and pushing with this government overreach of everything. It's like, you got to put this on a dude's land? And without even asking him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he gets in trouble for removing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Right along.
I think he didn't even know it was the government. I think he was just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I could see that, and I'm sure it wasn't actually engraved in their property of federal government or Tennessee or anything of that nature. So, I mean, yeah, I would have done the same thing if I saw something like that,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. That's just, hopefully he won't get in trouble for it, because that's, again, a wild one. All right. So we're going to talk about the big thing in Louisiana in a minute, or I guess you can just talk about that now and we'll go back to Tennessee, because Tennessee is trying to do the same thing that happened in Louisiana, which is the Voting Rights Act. Braden, you want to talk about that?
So what I've been able to find, you cannot, the Voting Rights Act stated you could not redistrict a state or a map without taking into account like the race of people who live there. And basically the Supreme Court found that the map they wanted was going to be unconstitutional gerrymander, because it took race into account to draw the lines. In an opinion written by Justice Alito, the court's conservative majority said the provision of the Voting Rights Act in question, called Section 2, was designed to protect voters from intentional discrimination. So it all circles to all these states that are. California did it, Texas did it, Virginia most recently did it. Everybody's gerrymandering the hell out of stuff right now, and trying to. It's a tit for tat. And apparently Tennessee's next.
Tennessee is next. Bill O'Lee and Blackburn both called to redraw the map to make it work, obviously, in favor of Republicans.
Yep.
Yeah. So the thing about with Louisiana, so what they did is when they made it the way it was before, was it was drawn in sections, because there was a population, like certain black population, that was centered in especially these two areas, and that gave them representatives from that state in Congress, right, Braden?
Mm-hmm.
So what they did now is they took that away, and that means that whole population isn't really going to have a representative, right? Like basically, it's just going to be, they're going to be mixed in with another whole, probably a bunch of Republicans or you know what I mean? It's all designed. Yeah. It's all designed to win the election. It's all rigging the election. That's all this is.
Yeah.
Anything else on that, Matt?
No.
All right. Matt, you sent this. I think you sent this. It was Epstein's Evil Zorro Ranch, which we had to get from
Australia.
60 minutes from Australia, of all places, because I guess America doesn't want to touch things. Let's talk about that a little bit.
yeah, kind of goes along to me stating that I've been, reaching out and trying to find news from other countries to see exactly what they're talking about when it comes to the United States. And this seemed to go more in depth and actually have a survivor speaking on the story. I don't remember hearing about the Zorro Ranch in anything that I had heard previously about Epstein, but they even went into talking about the fact that the local police force had been investigating claims in the area from many minors about abuse and things of that nature. And I guess the FBI came in and told them that they were already looking into it and they wanted all their evidence, and then never did anything about it. And there's claims of bodies being buried on the property, claims of them discussing through some of the emails that are out there about, I guess, genetic engineering of babies and things of that nature also. And things that, although I'm sure if I was going through all those redacted files, I'd catch glimpses of some of this stuff. But it seems like other countries are taking note of what's being stated and actually reporting on it in ways that we don't see here on our normal day-to-day shows. Or maybe we do, and that algorithm here in the United States isn't giving me those things when I'm out there looking for them. So it was, to me, although it was a horrific thing to actually learn about, it's good to know that somewhere in the world they are still talking about this, and it's not just hushed up because of our Strait of Hormuz issues.
Right.
Right. I know I see a lot more stuff popping up in my algorithm about this, and people trying to push back and make sure Epstein doesn't just fall to the wayside. But yeah, the Zorro Ranch, that seems like something else. We probably just need to excavate that whole entire thing and knock that mansion down and figure out what kind of skeletons are actually there. I mean that figuratively and literally, possibly, by what was stated.
I would say there are some. It just looks like an evil lair, doesn't it? I mean, it totally, absolutely in the middle of nowhere, and just like when they say, like you said, you could scream all you want, nobody can hear you scream. I mean, literally is like the worst evil that somebody could think of to put it in a place and bring people. But I agree with you that, I think we should be hearing from these survivors. I feel like there should be an interview every day, but you don't see them. You don't see them that much, do you? You hardly ever see anything. And why is that? That doesn't make any sense. It's because certain people, I'm not going to say any names, have no interest in hearing these stories. We don't want to push that agenda. So it's just something that it's sad that you do have to go to a different country to hear it. But it would not surprise me at all if they didn't find some bodies there. I think that would be probably on par with this degree of evil that this guy has been up to throughout his life when he was alive. If he's not in Israel. Anyway.
Yeah.
Brayden sent a video. It's kind of a long one. It was about a lot of different topics, really, but mostly it started out about basically the plan to end elections in the U.S. What about that video, which a lot of it is pretty good information there, did you want to talk about, Brayden?
It talked, like, to your point, about a few different things. A fella at work sent it to me, and he and I talk a lot about the doom scrolling that we each do, and he kind of put this on my radar, and it opens up talking about how the Trump family has amassed something like $4 billion just in this first year.
Yeah.
And just that alone makes you pause. And it's even got Steve Bannon on there reiterating that the plan will be unveiled to have Trump in 2028, and just how all these chess pieces, that a lot of it we've talked about, even AI, I believe was mentioned in there.
Yeah.
A lot of these chess pieces are being moved strategically to, and it mentions ICE and the funding they're getting, and how this is all being moved to essentially end elections and just have them remain in power permanently. So, yeah, it was quite an interesting video. Kind of one of those, for lack of a better way of putting it, a little bit of a fear mongering video as well, to be quite honest. But a lot of it made sense. But yeah, just some kind of chilling stuff when you take a step back, that a lot of it is plausible, that they want to remain in power. Obviously, they're using him as a figurehead, but the Bannons, Stephen Millers, the people behind the scenes want to remain in orbit and in power.
Mm-hmm.
And are going to do whatever it takes to do so.
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile to do some more research on some of the stuff that was there, but the things that we already know are in play made it feel real enough to not just be sucked in. But yeah, some very interesting things, and things that we have talked about for sure on this. And I don't know exactly where it was stated at, or what the name of it was, or how to tell other people to go look for it, but I know it was captioned as World War III. And so it's definitely interesting stuff. It makes you look at everything that we're seeing go on and really question, is this not looking like it was written as a storybook and we're already playing it out?
Mm-hmm.
It's a horror story for sure. All right, moving on. AI chatbots gave chilling instructions on how to build biological weapons. That's good to know, that as many guardrails as they put up, that they can still give you biological weapons. Instructions in case you don't know how to make one yourself.
Well, and as soon as you talked about those 700 vials missing, I was thinking, man, if we got vials missing from biological, chemical warfare places, and chat teaching us how to make them on our own at home, then what are we really set up for at this point in time?
Let's build your own chemistry set there. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that one's alarming. Crack did this thing about things that rich people can do, and I sent you guys this one. It's that rich people can change the weather if they're like having a wedding day or something that they want the weather to be nice. They can actually change the weather by paying a $100,000 fee for a service called cloud seeding. And I did look this up, and this is a real thing that you can do. What it will do is it will basically, like, if there's clouds in the sky and it's going to rain, it will just make it rain faster, get it out of the way. That way it'll clear it up for the time that you are wanting, whatever it is you're wanting to do, to be either sunny or partly cloudy, just not raining, I guess, is kind of the main thing I took away from this. It's still kind of a wild concept.
Yeah, and I know there's some controversy about whether or not cloud seeding really works. Just the fact that people would be willing to pay the $100,000 to potentially stop the rain during that hour or 2 hour
I could totally see
section
it.
that they have. You
I
know,
could totally see it, man.
Yeah. Definitely wild. Entitled much.
Well, you know, I did see this other thing about where it was talking about how normal people really can't even fathom what means to be a billionaire, because when you think about it, like a millionaire to 1,000, and it's just so like a millionaire is so closer to $1,000 than it is to billions of dollars.
Yep.
And it's just so unfathomable. So these people could totally just be like, yeah, make the rain go away. And so with that is the whole thing about the whole conspiracy theory that people talk about, chemtrails. You hear that a lot times, people saying, oh, it's chemtrails, they're poisoning us. People say, well, that's not really true. It's just, you know, like your breath and stuff. When the atmosphere, it's what it is. And it's called contrails. What do you think about any of this?
I mean, that one's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. Like you said, I've read and heard both sides of it. I don't know. I mean, it's certainly plausible that we would put things into the atmosphere that could control the weather, so to speak, or poisonous. I don't know. I don't believe in it, but I don't, not believe it at the same time.
Yeah. Matt?
In this reality, I feel that pretty much anything is plausible. So I don't necessarily know that I completely believe it, but as Braden says, yeah, is it something we can say with certainty is not happening also? No.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not the vegetables giving us cancer. Maybe it is the chemtrails.
Could be. Could be. All right, guys. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I think we covered everything I had on my mind.
Okay.
I know we run a little long today, but it's been a great discussion.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely. Well, until the next in 2 weeks.
See you later, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
I've been doing cocaine in the bathroom on the window pane, and I'm high now. Have been for 3